There are a stack of camera and video features on the S24 Ultra that you're probably not using to its full potential. So in this video, we're going to show you our 5 best photo features and our 5 best video features for you to take advantage of. Daniel here from SamMobile TV. Let's get you using this a whole lot better. Okay, we're going to start off with the 5 photo features and then we'll progress into video. Number 1, single take. Single take is far and away Samsung's best feature that they've introduced over the last 5 years. Starting out with the Galaxy S20, it was just such a groundbreaking feature for its time where you could point the phone at something, press the button, and over the course of 10 seconds, it captures a series of photos and videos. Brilliant. It's adapted itself over time, and at this point, Samsung have kind of made it a bit of a hybrid over what it used to be, but improved the output and the processing. So it will give you an album of up to 8 photos and videos over the course of 10 to 15 seconds. So when you go across the single take and you press the shutter button, you have 10 seconds as a countdown timer to start with. You can hit the 5-second button to add an extra 5 seconds should you need it. And then once it's done capturing the moments, it will then process a whole album of things together. When you go into the gallery, you'll see a little up arrow and how many photos and videos it's captured. When you press the up arrow and you swipe through all of the options that are there, you'll see there's a fast reverse video, there is a slow-mo video, there is a best shot that it crowns with a little crown, there is a highlight video where it actually combines a bunch of things together and puts it to music. Black and white, it's done a whole bunch of different things and put it in one place for you. You don't need to keep them all either. So if you just want to save one out from that single take album and delete the rest, you can. With the S24, you can of course use any of the rear cameras on the back. So you're not limited to the 1x like you used to be. It now can go from 0.6 all the way through to 10x. And it's one of the best that you're going to find. Number 2, portrait mode. Portrait mode is again one of Samsung's best features. Not something Samsung invented for smartphones, but they definitely have a sort of added features that no one else really had and keeps adding and adapting it as time goes on. With the S24 Ultra, you can use the 1, the 2, the 3, and the 5x options to take photos with portrait mode. The beauty of portrait mode is you can choose to take a portrait photo in just standard sort of background bokeh effect, or before the photo is taken, you can choose a multitude of other effects as well, and you can see a live preview of it. It's not going to look the best in the preview mode, but just let it do its thing in the back end and it'll process it. There's a whole bunch of options for you to choose from, but the best thing is, if you're not happy with the one you selected, you can go in afterwards. So when you go into the gallery and swipe up, hit background effects and change it to any of the ones that are available, which were the same ones that are available beforehand. Save it as another photo and away you go. You've got a different version of that portrait photo. Number 3, night mode. Now, night mode is one where you can actually get sort of a mini version of night mode just in standard photo mode, but night mode's dedicated. Its sole purpose is to stack frames on top of each other and spit out a photo that's a lot brighter than what it would have been otherwise. The thing with night mode is it does work handheld. Absolutely. Down the bottom, you'll see how long it's going to actually take photos for, and you can force it to go longer. So if you press the button, you can make it go to maximum time, which could extend it out a few more seconds. The best results from night mode though come from having a tripod. So I would recommend that in the most dimmest, darkest environments. And also if it's not of moving subjects, because night mode, moving subjects, not really. Number 4, Pro mode. This is where I guess if you want to take a little bit more control over your S24 Ultra, you can dive in here and have a lot more settings to control with. Whether that be the ISO, whether that be the shutter speed, the exposure value, you've got all those things to play around with. My favorite part of Pro mode is not any of those fancy other settings. It's the focus peaking. It's being able to sort of rack the focus back and forth and have the preview screen actually show you what's going to be in focus and what isn't. And then once you're sort of happy with where everything's at, take the photo. It sort of creates this natural bokeh for you without needing to resort to artificial like portrait mode, for example. But in here too, you can of course change the resolution. Samsung now give you 50 megapixel. And in the settings, you'll want to turn on the raw copy. So make sure it saves both a JPEG and a RAW, because that raw copy will be uncompressed. It'll have all the data and information, so you can go and edit it in Lightroom later if you need to. And the last photo feature that we recommend using is high resolution. Not all the time. I would say high resolution is probably a 1 to 2% use case scenario. But in those times, they are amazing. When you get an amazing 200 megapixel shot and it's captured the bright scenario really nicely, and if you notice something in that photo that is a good photo within itself, you can crop it in and still get a really nice shot. I did the math last year when 200 megapixel came out. It is 16 12 megapixel photos together in that 4:3 arrangement. That's not bad. So if you crop down to 1/16 of the photo, you've still got 12 megapixels of resolution. Crazy. But that's not the only high res mode you have now. With the S24 Ultra, they obviously still offer 50 megapixel for the main camera, but they also give you 50 megapixel for the 5x. This thing is magic. I took some 50 megapixel shots at 5x of things like S24 Plus, and it produced some stunning results. It's really great for like telemacro sort of stuff. It's got a really close minimum focus distance, so there's some flexibility with it, not just for zooming things far away, but also for taking photos of things that are close, like flowers or phones. That's pretty much my two examples so far. Okay, moving on to video, because video, Samsung have opened up their feature set in the last few years to be one of the most flexible video systems on a smartphone. The first video feature that I recommend giving a go is called Super Steady. Now, you might be wondering, isn't the main camera already steady enough? Samsung have improved that. Yes, but Super Steady takes it up to like action cam level. And when you're running behind kids, for example, it can be really handy. Last year, Samsung improved it so it now can be done in Quad HD resolution and 60 frames per second. And you have more camera options. It's not just the one crop that you get multiple options, and you can change as you're recording. I'd give it a go, because when you are following kids around and you're in that action sort of mode, it can be really beneficial to keep things really steady. It's this little toggle that you turn on inside the main video mode. Don't need to have it on all the time either. Number 7, and the second video feature is, again, inside the main video mode, is called auto framing. In the bottom corner, you'll see this little icon, and this icon, when turned on, activates auto framing. Auto framing is phenomenal, especially this year as Samsung on the S24 Ultra has upped it to 4K. So now you have 4K auto framing plus multiple cameras to actually start the auto framing from, which will give you flexibility in post edit later should you need to. It was always limited to full HD before, but now that it's 4K, because the way auto framing works is it uses that one camera and then follows a subject around the room by zooming in and out just from that one camera. If it's full HD, when you zoom in, you lose clarity, you lose resolution. When it's 4K, it punches in and it actually sort of keeps some resolution and some clarity about it. So when you watch it back later, it's not going to be this grainy mess. Best part about auto framing too is when it's situated on a tripod, you can tap to focus on something and then it will just follow that thing around. I love it. I use it in the backyard when I play with my son. I use it in the lounge room when my kids are playing together. Really great. Number 8, we have Pro Video Mode. This is kind of an evolution of Pro Photo Mode. There's a lot of the same things in here. And again, my favorite part of this is actually the focus peaking, because you can adjust that manual focus slider, and it's really great if you want to create that soft sort of change in focus from the background to the foreground. I used it sometimes last year in some of my B-roll to create this dramatic change, but really liked it. It's really nice. But the rest of Pro Video Mode is kind of as is, except when you consider the audio. Here's how it sounds. Have a listen. So this is Pro Video Mode, and what I want to show you is the Pro Video microphone controls, because there's some really cool stuff that you can do with it. If you head over to the mic section, you can see the different options that you have for recording microphones. You've got Omni, which is recording both the front and the rear microphones. You've got front, which when I switch to the front, you'll notice that it's now isolating the voice from the front. And you also got rear. When I select rear, you'll actually notice, well, you probably can't hear me too well because I'm speaking at you from the front. When I turn the camera around and speak from the back, you'll notice my voice gets picked up a lot more naturally and definitely a lot clearer. And you can probably hear my daughter from the rear a little bit more. Switch back to Omni. You can obviously hear me a little bit more rounded now. It's quite windy where I am, so apologies for that. And you'll see here a little slider. So if I slide this up and down, if I slide it up, you can hear it's actually giving me a bit more gain. If I slide it down, it's reducing that a little bit as well. There's a couple other options here as well. You can see there's USB. I haven't got USB plugged in, so that's why, but the main part of this video is actually shot using a USB mic. And then there's Bluetooth. My Buds in, and this is actually using the microphone of my Buds 2 Pro. It sounds okay. The advantage to this is I can kind of move the camera away from me and have it still be consistent audio because it's actually picking up from here, not from the phone. And then there's Bluetooth Mix. When I select Bluetooth Mix, you'll notice that it's now picking up sound from both the phone and the Bluetooth microphone, which is fine, but it does make it a little bit echoey because it's picking up from two sound sources. Again, this is probably something if you're recording from a distance away from something, you'll be able to place the phone down, use this to pick up your voice, and then the phone to pick up the surrounding atmosphere. As you can see, I'm in a playground, so that's probably what is making that sound a little bit louder. So that's all of the microphone control options. If you hit record, if you're using the onboard mics, you can switch between as you're recording and control the gain. But if you are using Bluetooth options, when you hit record, you cannot change. You are stuck with that option. So that's some of the microphone controls and how to use them inside Pro Video mode. Number 9 is Hyperlapse. Hyperlapse is a pretty underrated feature on Samsung phones. They pack this feature full of toggles and options for you to enable. It can be used in 4K, so you have high resolution option here, and you have different speeds that you can go between. The beauty of it too is when you click on a speed, Samsung kind of gives you a guide over what its best purpose is for. So you kind of don't have to guess, it will tell you. There's nighttime options, there's daytime options. There's also options to have it be infinite, so it never stops, which is weird. Or you can have it time out and stop at a certain point. And there's also a speed option where it will actually just auto adjust the speed of how fast it captures for, depending on what you want. And number 10, I've saved the best for last. Dual recording. Probably no secret by now that I'm a big fan of dual recording. Samsung did away with director's view, which was good, but limiting. Dual recording allows you to record from 2 rear cameras at the same time, so a main and a telephoto, and save them as separate videos, and now in 4K on the S24 Ultra. This has opened up so many opportunities for capturing my world, especially with kids. My son plays football, the real one, and he runs around on the field and he could be on the other side, but sometimes you want to show them the big picture as well as the close-up. So with dual recording, you can get both. It's phenomenal having this output, and then having it save in the gallery as 2 separate videos is so good. The way to make it save as 2 separate videos is there's a little toggle in the top, in the middle, and you press that, it's like a little down arrow, and it will have 2 boxes or 1. And you choose. It's great. To select your lenses, there's a little button down the bottom as well, and that will also allow you to select which cameras you want to record from and which one you want to sit in the top left corner as your one that you don't see as well, I guess you could call it. There you go. That is our definitive top 10 camera features that you really need to be using. So if you liked it, please give this video a like and also subscribe. But also go check out some of our other stuff as well. We're a lot of videos here on SamMobile TV, and we're also in a lot of places. You can go check out our website for the latest news on deals and updates and all sorts of things. And also come find us on our other platforms. We've got TikTok, Instagram, Twitter/X, Threads, and Facebook. Remember them all. Anyway, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.